Rare Books USA online sales monthly report, July 2026. Make sure you watch this full video today because this one's an absolute banger. What's up, everyone? Art Turner coming from Data Productions Media and Rare Books USA, which is a subsidiary of my larger production company. As always, it's the end of the month. So we're going to be going over July 2026 stats, where I'm at in my journey for this year, what we're looking to for the last 5 months of 2026, and just go over some ideas and logistics. As always, I like to begin my monthly reports for Rare Books USA with a little bit of gematria. If you don't know what gematria is, you can just go over to my main channel, which you'll be able to find in the link in the description, or in the comment section for Data Productions Media. It's highly energetic. It's how it's helped me, live my life with my business and everything else like that. And so I just like to sprinkle a little bit in for my Rare Books channel and reselling channel. So art sells antique and vintage books equals 333 in English ordinal, which is very powerful in gematria with the angel number. And book reseller equals 137 in English ordinal as well. That is the 33rd prime, meaning it can only be divisible by itself in one, which is very unique in numerology. And so Rare Books USA's eBay, Etsy, and whatnot stores are subsidiaries of Data Productions Media. Just a little update on whatnot. I still do have some listings on whatnot. I'm still a heavy buyer off whatnot, but there's really not going to be any significant sales coming from whatnot anytime soon. I'm just leveraging my resources, energy, and assets all into eBay and Etsy. Those are the 3 platforms I want. And those the 2 platforms I want, and those are the 2 platforms I've had the most success on. So I'm just going to keep leveraging that. As always, this is a monthly, this is an earnings report style monthly update. We track sales, expenses, and future business advancements. And for 2026 forward guidance, I want to reiterate that we did start the year at $70,000 as my forward guidance going into this year. We've since raised that. I think we raised that, if not last month, the month before, we raised that by $5,000. So my forward guidance that we're guiding for and that I'm expecting to hit is $75,000 in revenue this year for Rare Books USA. I think we'll hit 70,000 for sure. Hitting 75 is going to take a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, but it gives me a North Star to look at. So that's the goal there. Okay, getting right into it. Rare Books USA monthly sales report, July 2026. So we're going to be going over eBay and Etsy's specific monthly revenue numbers and a couple other stats and progress points that we have. So for eBay, for July 2026, we had total sales of $4,765.19. That came out to 147 items sold, an average sale price of $32.42, which is down 12% from last month. But I do sell a lot of postcards as well. So, I'm obviously within the $30 to $40 range for my average sales price. It just depends on what I sell that month and how many postcards I ultimately sell, because that does bring down the ASP, which is totally fine. I'm totally fine with that lowering the ASP. It's just something to notate, right? At the end of the day, it's just a pretty stat. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you run a good business or not, right? So that's for eBay. And then right now, I still have 100% positive feedback, no negative reviews per the last 12 rolling months of being on eBay. So I'm, pitching a perfect game right now, still on eBay. It's not the goal to have perfection. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Obviously, I mess up on orders. Obviously, Buyers are different, and sometimes you just catch them on a bad day. So, when the inevitable happens, when that negative feedback does come at some point, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be worried. I'm not going to be down in the dumps because my 100% perfect score is gone. It's part of the game. I've had negative feedbacks before, so it's nothing that I have not experienced and gone through. But it's nice to kind of have that little badge of honor, right? And it's been like this for about a month now. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, I have 2.4 thousand items sold on my store. I have 260 followers on eBay. So that shakes out to be like 9.42 orders. For per every 9.42 orders, I'm gaining a follower. So which is really nice. It's well below that 10 orders per one follower mark. I'm trying to get it lower, trying to get it to the 9, trying to get it to the 8. Having that type of retention is important with an online store, right? That's why branding is important. I want people to come back to my store for various reasons, not only for having great products, but a great experience and just overall care for the customer where they know what they're going to get, especially in a world where a lot of people just don't care. Also, I advertise on eBay. My ROAS right now is 8.87, which is really good. That's well over double what most people see with the return on ad spend. And I've been fiddling around. I do pay a decent amount in revenue fees, but if you really know how the revenues, the ad revenue, the ad system works on eBay, you can use that to your advantage. And I might make a video on that later in the future where, you shouldn't be worried about, having a higher percentage for eBay advertising. If you know what you're doing, if you know what to look out for, because obviously, and what settings you have, because obviously not every sale needs the highest percent that you have. So, if you have strategies like using dynamic ads, you get a little bit of a break where the algorithm's not going to try to push it out at the highest, cap you give it. So that's, that's a longer video for another day. Moving over to Etsy. I did $1,352.28 on Etsy this month in July, which marks the second month in a row of me doing over $1,000, which marks the third month in a row of me doing over $950 plus. So I'm trending really close to just having a consistent $1,000 a month on Etsy, which is amazing. You see, I have 61 reviews right now, 5-star review, star seller, 1,272 active listings currently, 229 sales. And when you look at, where I was this time last year, so much growth. And, we'll get into the chart and stuff shortly where you'll see the growth. But, I'm really proud where the Etsy stores has gone. I'm proud where it's going, and I'm proud where Rare Books USA and the mix I'm having with my stores is producing. So for the linear forward guidance right now, as you see, I'm at about $38,469.06. It's literally depending on the stats. It's one or give or take $1 or $2, depending, because you'll see a little difference in the chart. But ultimately, $38,400 and almost $70 and almost $70. And so you divide that by 7. We have when you divide that by 7, that means an average month is $5,495.58. So we're literally almost at on average $5,500 per month in revenue generated off both platforms. And so when you're doing linear forward guidance, you just want to divide that by 12, span that out over a 12-month span. So that has me in range of $65,946.96 if all things remained equal and linear right now. So that puts me at about $66,000 that has me on. Now, that's not really considering Q4 sales, obviously, which is a bigger uptick in people buying for the holidays and such. And also just me growing my inventory still. I'm growing my inventory on eBay still. I reached the 7,000 listing mark on eBay, which is a big deal. I've reached 7,000 on eBay. I'm over 1,000 on Etsy, and I have about 120 items cross-listed. So in total, I already have 8,000 pure listings across both platforms, which is amazing, and which is why my numbers are like what they are. But hopefully with the cross listing of higher end books, more of an umbrella of a halo, it's going to help my Etsy store even more with that growth. So I'm really excited with that. And we'll see if we get to 75,000. That's the goal. Where am I going to get that last $9,000 from? Well, I have to get it within these next 5 months. I'm going to hit 70 for sure. Will I hit 75? We shall see. Now, let's look at this chart a little bit. I use ChatGPT to generate this chart. They actually just have this new work feature. I call it the new workflow, but it's called like the work feature. But it just spends a little bit more time generating higher level tasks for you. I have quite a few different tasks for it when it comes to the listing and such. Again, that could be another video for another day where, it just produces listings for you that I can come back to later, which has been very helpful to get me out a lot more listings out. But I had it generate this bar and this line graph, this bar chart and this line graph, just going over my revenue for 2026 thus far and how that's going. So obviously you see we did 5,214 in January, 5,100 in February, 4,900 in March. And so you saw that little dip. Obviously that dip comes after the holiday season. That's normal. But throughout that whole process, I was continuing to list. And then that's when you see that uptick in April. You see that huge spike in May. I just had a killer month on eBay in May. I did over 5.5 thousand in May, and I had a pretty good month on Etsy too, close to 1,000. So that's what got me to 6,475. I had a pretty rough month in June, obviously, and relatively month, because when you look at the stats, right, that's right in line. No, so like think about that. This is why it's so powerful to visualize this, and this is why I work so hard and stuff like this. Like this, we're in the dog days of summer. Wars, recessions, political drama, whatever. A lot. Look, the stability that's getting coming from the diversity and the leverage in these two businesses. eBay has been consistent. It still has shown growth, right? It's a bigger store, so it's not going to grow as fast at this point, but it still has shown really solid growth. We had a really bad month in June for eBay, relatively speaking, but Etsy picked it up really nicely with a nice month. Big dip, but then we come back with a solid month of July, over 6,000 across both platforms. And, Etsy, eBay, once again, doing its normal numbers. So it's funny, that's why I don't get too high, too low with the volatility, the day-to-day numbers. I go by monthly numbers, and this is why. You can see the real flows of things. How are you really performing? That's what you kind of want to see. How are you really performing? And, I've been holding water and still growing during this time. And that's why I think my Q4 is going to be amazing. Now, looking more so at Etsy, smaller sample size, smaller store, but you see the growth, right? You can see the growth. under 500, under 500, under 500 through January through April. So the first 4 months of the year, under $500 in revenue. I might have hit 5 in April. Then May, 950, over 950, almost 1,000. So that's literally almost a double. June, well over 1,000, a double from April. So think about that, an increase in April. In July, an increase off June, right? And we almost did 1,500 in on Etsy this month in July. That's almost triple what we did in April. And this is the middle of summer. So, there's a lot of things, a lot of positive things happening. You see the stability on Etsy in the blue. You see the growth on eBay in the blue, the growth and stability in the growth on eBay, but you see more of the exponential growth on Etsy, and you see the growth with the combined stores and what that's doing and what that's going to produce for me. And so I'm really excited where that's going. I asked ChatGPT as well, hey, just give me analyze my stats, because I've been working with ChatGPT. Analyze those and give me kind of like a forecast of what you think I'm gonna do in 2026 with considering Q4 numbers and me listing a lot more. So conservatively, ChatGPT thinks I can do another 35,000, which the 4-year revenue puts me at 73.4, which beats my first forward guidance, doesn't get me to the 75, which I'm gunning for. My base projection said I'm gonna do 39.3. So that puts me at 77.7 for the year, which would be really nice at base projection. That hits my 75,000 goal. But maybe I want to get a little crazy. It's staying at 75 for the year, but maybe I get crazy and I can do 80. The strong Q4 means I do 42.9 in the back half from August to December. That means I do 81.3, right? That's a big goal. I have to list a lot more to get there. ChatGPT's honest expectation is 76 to 79,000, with about 77.8 as the best working estimate. Your 75 target looks very achievable. Reaching 80 would require approximately 41.5 over the remaining 5 months, only 2.2 above the base forecast. Possible, we'll see. Plausible, am I going to get it? We'll see. But if I don't, it's okay. We're still in a really good spot going into 2027. All right. Rare Books USA, July 2026, fundamentals and financials. Obviously, real quick, we follow this a lot. My net income obviously has been going up, which has been so nice. Obviously you want to be a little bit more profitable. But with being profitable, you have to also make sure you're reinvesting in your business. And what made so much growth happen last year was me buying a lot of books. And I have been buying quite a bit of books this year too. You would see my general expenses, which is my inventory expenses, is $5,000, $5,500. But that at this point last year, that was well over 10 grand last year, 100%. So the expenses have definitely changed, but income has definitely grown. We're in a good position. Cash in, cash out, pretty much dead even over the last 6 months. The cash runway about 7 months, cash buffer about 1 month, something to work on. But I do have cash in the background, other places, not necessarily within the business account for uses if necessary. I would like to get a net income maybe into the 3,000 range by the end of 2026, which would be nice come tax time. And so, overall, I think the business is still in growing, still on stable ground. We're not out of the woods yet. We still got to grow quite a bit, but I like where Rare Books USA is heading, the business is heading, and the book industry is heading.